retro stuff. And if you've watched my introductory video and you're still sticking around, hey, good. I'm glad to hear that. Today I want to kind of concentrate on some of the software. If you get into the retro stuff, at least in the PC realm, you might want to try to collect. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is getting older and getting kind of hard to find. You might get lucky on eBay. You have to kind of watch a little bit, or you might even run across stuff here and there, which is what I have done over time, or I've even kept stuff over time. I've been pretty fortunate to be able to keep some of this stuff, but unfortunately it's, especially in disc, that's magnetic media, and some stuff starts to fail over time. They weren't really reliable to begin with, but honestly, they're if you find stuff, get lucky, please make a copy of it and keep it. Some of the older DOS stuff you can make a copy of, no problem, and keep it around on fresh discs, because like I said, a lot of the older stuff, like the older discs I have, I've been lucky they all still work, but they are kind of on the edge of probably going bad. So I know if you're going to get into the older computers, like from the mid 80s and on up, you will need some DOS and stuff like that. I've been pretty fortunate to have over here in my collection some DOS stuff. I kept a lot of, especially with Tandy. I have some old Tandy stuff that actually came with the original discs, and I've been pretty lucky to be able to keep that stuff. I've made copies of it so it doesn't go bad. Like I've got a Tandy 3.3. I actually had this. I have the original copy, so I made a copy of it. So I do have it. This is the boot disc, and then of course there's only like 2 discs to it. So you can find this. I think there's a website on the internet that you can probably download this older Tandy stuff. But to make the boot discs, you really need a Tandy to do that. I can't really elaborate on that because I've been fortunate enough not to have to do that. So I don't know, I know you can get the software online, but I don't know exactly how to convert it over so you can actually use it in the old PCs. So like I said, I've been fortunate enough to do that. Still have my copy of, now you get into like the 486 and up, maybe up to Pentium 2, 266s. I've been lucky enough to have the DOS 6.2 or 622, which is the last version of DOS. This is my original copy. I've had it for a long time. It came with a PC, or I bought it when I bought a PC a long time ago. I've always built my own, but every now and then I've bought PCs, and this came with one of the things. So I do have that. Now when you get into, well, I can actually kind of go back a little bit. Now there are some stuff you can find that, like here's for the Tandy 1000 TL and TL3, TL2 and TL3, which I have a TL2, I do believe. That software, any type of software as far as drivers go, like this is the, you can get that still online. So drivers for the older stuff, the old 286s and 8088s and stuff like that. So I hate to go back that way, but like I said, all this is unscripted. I'm not even going to script it because I like to just fly off the cuff. I mean, it may hurt me eventually in the long run, but hey, we'll give it a shot anyway. As far as Windows goes, I've always preferred, as far as for the 486 stuff, before 95 came out, and I do not own a version 95. I never found it to be reliable, because when I used to work at a computer store a long time ago, that came on discs, and brand new, out of the box, always one disc bad, somewhere along the batch. So luckily we had multiple copies, so we can pop another copy, and later on it came on CD-ROM, but early on it all came in 311 or 1.44 megabyte 3.5 floppy disks. This is my 311. If you're going to do a 486 or a 386 and some later 286s, you'd really 311 is kind of a nice Windows to have. I don't have a 95, like I said, because I fought those discs when I was younger, and I just never had any interest in it. Now, for my older stuff like Pentium, you can do like the Pentium MMXs, the 200s and Pentium 2s and Pentium 3s. I use 98 second edition for that. I've got the boot disk. It's my software. I've had this forever. This is the second edition. I had bought this a long time ago. Actually, right after I bought this, I never really had 95 because the problem with, like I said, 95 was the discs were just terrible. But 98 is something you might want to try to find too, the SE. Now you could buy this on eBay, but you just got to kind of watch and make sure you get the codes. If you don't get the code, it's kind of worthless. Now on DOS, or sorry, on Windows 3.1.1, you do not need the code. It never required a code. You just had to have the DOS. You had the floppy to prove it. Same with DOS 622. You don't need. There's no passcode for that. In my DOS 622 days, I used to use PC Tools a lot instead of the DOS. Well, the DOS 6.2 you put on there, but the PC Tools was really great for compression, and it was kind of it wasn't really a Windows environment, but it was kind of nice to be able to just kind of take your mouse, point and click, and do some stuff with that. But I don't even know whatever happened to my PC Tools. I really need it because actually I have some software in here that I've had that I compressed with PC Tools. And I did actually go on eBay once and buy a copy, but it was corrupted somewhere online. It was on floppies. It was on 13 floppies or something like that. And one of the discs were corrupted, and I just never did. Now, granted, there might be something online that you can go on to get, but it's something you just have to look around at. A lot of the stuff is getting harder to find. Well, I don't know 98 necessarily getting harder to find, but it's getting expensive because, unfortunately, like anything else, the more popular it starts becoming, again, of course, you know, when I was younger, it was popular. The price has gone up quite a bit. And my last software that I like to use, and which you can still use in some retro gaming stuff, especially if you get into some of the older World of Warcraft, like the second or third version, or I don't think the Tides of Darkness. That's a DOS game, but the last one you can still kind of use a little bit is XP. XP is kind of nice to have. I keep XP as well, just so that I have it. I don't use XP. The highest I go is 98, but my son, he uses XP because the games he likes to play, he can do it. On my shelf, actually behind the camera, I've got a bunch of old DOS and old games that will work on all the other ones, but I don't know if it would quite work on XP. Now, excuse me, the service pack for XP is free to download, and so you can download it and burn it to disk. I have done that, so I have service. I didn't do service pack 1 because really you only need service pack 3 because, you know, 3 encompasses 2 and 1. So you can go actually on Microsoft's website and download the service packs for those. Those are kind of nice to have because when you get into the original Windows XP, of course, it's just what it is. Now 98 SC, that was it. I don't think they had any service pack for SC because I've never seen it. So you don't need that. But it's wise if you're going to use XP to go ahead and download the service pack, because the service pack, gives you a little bit more options, a little bit more driver sets for some of the other video cards, and so on. But these are what I normally use here. Now, when we get into the Atari stuff and Commodore stuff, there's, they have, you got Atari DOS and stuff like that. That's a separate video. This is basically just PCs, especially if you are into that. I have found that if you go to like any of the thrift stores, they always have software. They're mixed in with CDs, and they're mixed in with CDs. But you can find a lot of good old games. I've been collecting the Milton Bradley games. Those seem to be the best. I always like the Milton Bradley games. I've got the battleships and all that stuff. I even got the Risks and Operation and Boggle. I that's been kind of stuff I kind of collect there because I just kind of find it fascinating. Now I do like a lot of the Diablo 2s and the StarCrafts and stuff like that. But this is mostly what you would probably need to find if you're going to do retro. You don't have to have all of it, but you got to find out what you would like to get into, what you would like to play with. You know, if you're into the stuff in the 80s, then you definitely would need a copy of DOS. DOS, like I said, 3, 3.2, 4, I never cared much for, so I've always bypassed that, went to 5, which I do have a copy of 5, but it's on 5 1/4. But like the 622s, you know, that will work in a lot of the older 80s and early 90s stuff. Windows 311, 311, it will also work in a lot of the older PC stuff. You get into like the later Pentium MMXs, the 200s, and maybe even the 133s or the 166s. When you get into the MMX, you would really need to upgrade to 98 because it has a lot of the drivers. If you go into the Windows 98, you know, there's a lot of problems with, or sorry about that, with 311. There's a lot of problem with drivers, if you can find them. A lot of video cards and stuff, they still have the drivers online. You've got to watch downloading off sources, because a lot of the off sources, you know, it might pop up, oh, I have this, but then there's got a lot of viruses and what I call burgers in there that I kind of stay away from. So if you can't get it off the actual website, then you might have a little problem. My problem I'm having right now, I have a Tandy. It's my Tandy. It's a model 3100. Unfortunately, Tandy there's hardly any drivers out there for that. But luckily, that since Tandy at that time did not make their computers and they farmed all that, or they sold that business off to AST, you can find AST drivers for the same or similar model. Actually, they have their own model number. I have been lucky, fortunately, to find drivers for my 3100 Tandy, which, like I said, was an AST. I don't know the model number of the AST, but anyway, so that's something you've got to kind of look at when you start finding drivers for like 311. You'll need stuff like if you do a Sound Blaster, any of your sound cards you want to run in DOS, you'll have to have a driver for. 311 you'd have to have a driver for. You get into 98. If you go into 95, you'll also have to have the driver. But if you go into 98, especially the second edition, you shouldn't have any problem with anything. You should be able to, unless it's some that was manufactured after 98. But well, I can't say that because I think SE was second edition came out in 99. So anything prior to 99, you put SC, 98 SC, run just fine. Don't need really to have to really look for drivers unless it's a real specific video card that they probably didn't sell that many of, and then or a sound card that was offbeat or something like that. So, but that's basically it on your PC software. Software, like I said, it's one of them things that's just kind of, you just have to kind of look and see if it's what's out there, I guess. And you'll get lucky enough, like I have. I've been lucky enough to collect it, or I've had stuff I kept. It's funny how when we were younger, especially when I started a family, I had all this software and all kinds of different little computers and stuff I've built, or well, most computers I have built. But the problem is, you know, when you upgrade, you get rid of it. Now all of a sudden we want that back. So anyway, that's my video on software that is probably going to be required for anything you want to retro. Like I said, everything I'm doing is not scripted, so if it sounds kind of funny, you know, that's just the joy of it. I'm just doing it just to have a little fun. I'm not doing it to be a serious guy or anything like that. But you know, hopefully we can get in and do some stuff, which I do have some stuff planned for my channel. I've got computers that's going to have to be completely stripped down. I've got some Tandys, I've got some Commodores, I've got some Ataris, I've got, you know, I've got Timex Sinclair I've got to tear down yet. See what's going on with it. It was my original Timex Sinclair, but then of course now we're getting the DOS stuff or the actual PC stuff, the IBM PC compatible, should I say, stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching my channel. If you like what you like, please subscribe. If you don't like, you know, either way, click like or dislike. It doesn't make any difference. I take criticism just as good as anybody else. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm right, I'm right. That's just how it is. But thanks for watching my channel.